Okay, right. So I should just continue, okay, from where we left off, because we have that IMA meeting at 5, which a few people wanted to join. So yeah, I will start off. So I think the last point Avantika made was that wait, what did you say again? I'm sorry, Dex. What? Did Diksha say something?
No.
Okay. Okay, so what was the last point Avantika made? Just refresh my memory.
Yeah, she said that like the characters in DC are like immortal and like they can never be killed, and so there's no real danger when it comes to the storyline. So yeah.
Yeah. So 1 second, I will.
Somewhat similar point that I wanted to make actually was that I feel DC is kind of bottled themselves up and cornered themselves because they have the kind of a bit dependent on their regular roster of heroes, your Justice League and main superheroes. Like I think only a couple of years back, I think they introduced a few new heroes like Sideways, which I think it was an interesting concept, but I think I was just reading sometime back that I think it was cancelled. Whereas I think DC, Marvel is still, although you could say that a few of them are just taking up the mantle from other heroes. Like there's a new Iron Man. I can't remember her name. Even there's a Shuri takes over as Black Panther, and then even I can't remember. I think Amadeus Cho.
Yeah.
He takes over, and Kamala Khan, I think that's her name. At least Marvel has slow growth.
It's like that. Even though they manage to kill off the heroes, their legacy is maintained through their apprentices taking up the mantle and continuing that legacy forward. So, if you really delve into it further, they are not really, the character as such not really dead, but you can't really replace the original. Like you can't like Sam Wilson is the next Captain America, but you can't really replace the original Captain America. So that's one thing. And also the WB Studios have really botched up the DC universe. It could have been like it has potential for being one of even more successful than Marvel's with its plots and storylines, but WB has really botched everything up.
I would agree. I would agree completely with Emmanuel. Yeah, completely. Because I remember watching each trailer and getting so excited. Like I remember watching Suicide Squad and like the way the trailer came out, the music in the trailer, the action sequences in the trailer, it blew my mind. I was like, it was like the most anticipated movie I had in ages. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so brilliant. And then amazing characters. Harley Quinn, like again in the trailer, she was so good. Will Smith was amazing, and I was so excited for that movie. But in my opinion, they delivered flop after flop. They might have just done well in the box office, but it never, none of them connected with me. I just kept getting hit by another flop after one flop after another, and I never really enjoyed it. There's so much they could have done with the movies, and it was only the indie films of DC's that actually rang home with me, like the Joker and the Batman trilogy, and even to some extent the original Fantastic Four. Oh wait, that was
Marvel.
That was Marvel.
Big fact.
Yeah, that was Marvel. So yeah, so they didn't even have that. I mean, you get what I'm saying. so yeah. In this very essence, they could have done a lot, but I was left wanting after each of the movies. I loved the trailers, but hated the movies. Even Wonder Woman, everything, just can't.
DC has done really well on the TV series side of things compared to Marvel. I feel Marvel has just started taking off now, but DC has started that a long time back since Smallville actually, or even so. DC's side of things, when it comes to TV series, it has really took off from there. But they are not well known for continuing their series for over long seasons. Like take Flash for example. The first 3 seasons were like really good visuals, uh, really good scenes and all. But after season 3 of Flash, it kind of all went downhill. It kind of got repetitive, as Avantika said before. So that's one point. Then I remember like sometime back, DC had released a series on Swamp Thing.
Hmm.
That too was really good, but I don't know, for some reason they canceled it. But
They cancelled it.
yeah, the director anyways released all the 10 episodes, but it was kind of a setback that they canceled. It was really good though, Swamp Thing.
For that matter, DC has Alan Moore, probably my opinion, the best comic book writer of all time. He just kept getting out banger after banger. It was like he had V for Vendetta, then he had what's the other one? Uh, the Snyder's original one. I'm forgetting this.
Watchmen.
The Watchmen, right? And then the Joker, the Killing Joke. He just had banger after banger after banger. It was just
Killing Joke.
amazing stories coming out of him, and DC has that. And I think they just failed to meet any metric of potential that they could have. So yeah.
Yeah, so like Avantika made a point, right? Like since the DC characters are like immortal gods, and since there's no because they are immortal, there's no real tension and there's no real suspense. So the thing is, when you have such characters, the main characters, even the protagonists are mirrored in that way. So when you have a Batman who is set on principles, you have a Joker who's like he throws off all principles and is chaos. If you have a Superman, you have a Zod. If you have a Wonder Woman, you have a God of War, Ares. So there is a balance. It's not that the what you say, there's no suspense or there's no actual real fear or anything. Sometimes the execution is not well done. For instance, like it's like everybody will agree with me if I say Christopher Nolan did a very good job with The Dark Knight, right? So that there's no question about it. But yeah, maybe Wonder Woman was also pretty good, not as good as the others, let's say. But yeah, even Man of Steel, the first DCU film, was also pretty good actually. It was promising. The first film felt like, okay, there is something DC might do, and then Batman v Superman came and crashed on all our hopes. So, but yeah, that's the sad state we are in.
The only thing I remember of the Man of Steel film was that everybody used Nokia phones. Or was it? Yeah, right? There was that partnership with Nokia. And annoyed me so much product placement. It was like everybody is like cut to the scene of 3 seconds of that flashy, colorful Nokia phone. So annoying, and I just really did like that.
Also, one thing that DC has managed to do, like there are all these overpowered characters, like someone as strong as Superman. He's like almost close to be called a god. So how do you beat someone who is already so overpowered? You throw in someone who is even more overpowered. So they brought in Darkseid for that purpose. So they could have had some potential there, but they didn't really follow up on that aspect. So that's what they're doing, bringing in even more overpowered character to defeat the already overpowered one.
Yeah, I'd agree. Do any of the people who haven't spoken yet want to go? Maybe Diksha, Ian, Divya. I know you all would like to just participate like silently, but of the little you have or might have watched of the DC and Marvel movies, do you have any inputs? It can be extremely trivial and random, but it's cool. Just share. Any of you?
I don't really have much to say, but from what I've heard today, I think Marvel movies are better and DC comics are better. So I shall watch a few Marvel movies and try to make up my mind too.
Ian and Divya, if you want to.
I wasn't really sure whether I like which one do I like more, but I guess after this debate, I will check them out and hopefully be ready for the next debate.
Okay, cool. And Ian, do you want to say something? Because you missed the intros also, so you can go ahead, speak as much as you want.
Yeah, I'm not much fan of both, but I'm watching more of Marvel throughout my childhood. Like I watched more of the Iron Man and all the very less of DC. So I'm definitely in favor of Marvel, specifically.
So, may I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Laksh. Go ahead.
So, also about the character development, in the last previous meeting, Tegan was saying that DC has explored the characters much well. Give an example of Flash also. In the MCU itself, we can see the character development very well and more in a humanitarian approach. As in, we start off with a very mean, selfish guy, Tony Stark, and he ends up being kind of giving his life for the entire world. We start off with this Captain America who is patriotic and for the nation and ends up being, inclusive about the Avengers. Like they should be independent, they should not be dependent on the government or related to government. However, if you see the Captain America Civil War and the events that turn out, personally, me myself was expecting actually Tony Stark to be kind of going with the government idea, but it was quite difficult for us to understand that why Captain America, like the one who actually started off with working for the government and all, going against the government. And the Thanos himself, the main villain himself, he started off with a kind of, if we see the initial Avengers movie and in the Guardians of Galaxy, when the Ronan the Accusers part comes, he kind of looks very casual with his idea, what he wants to do or how he's approaching stuff. But as we go ahead and ahead, emotionally plus the physically, his powers and his emotions, both of them have a lot of evolution. The way he sacrifices his daughter and the way he kind of channelizes the power to his objective. And during his journey to reach to his objective, he didn't divert a bit. We cannot talk about diversion at all because he sacrificed his daughter for it. So character developments have been there, and we have a very beautiful little development of Peter Parker as well, from a teenager to become a responsible Avenger. And maybe in the future movies, he would be having an important part. So I think that uh, with as much possibility to be connected to Homo sapien kind of emotions, MCU does it very well.
Okay, so I will use what Lux said into, I'll use it as a segue into our last bit of the discussion. So now I'm going to ask you guys, if you had to change something about the DC universe and Marvel universe to make them better, what would you do? So I had to start, I would just build on what Lux said, that I think Marvel has found their winning formula for the mainstream, the main phase of their MCU. I think they should just go on with that because that's your cash cow. Do it. But I think they should also make these a few indie films. Like they should see how much the fans really love the Taika Waititi's movie, the Ragnarok movie, and how well Into the Spider-Verse did and stuff like that. So I think they should allow much more indie directors and make a smaller sub studio maybe for just standalone films. I think that would be really cool because instead of just having this overplayed formula and overplayed characters and the same character arc for everybody, You have like a typical superhero thing. First, you have your own thing going on, then suddenly you have a burden thrust upon you, and then you grow into that and fill the shoes, and then you become a responsible superhero. It's very overplayed. I feel, and it's happening again and again and again. So I would like more standalone movies. Yeah, that would be my particular how I would just like solve my problems with the MCU. Um, so you have your winning formula, don't change that, but also like divert some of your big, huge, budget into making some cool films that fans would love, maybe like a new take on a character and stuff. And for DC, I would say, listen, see what your audience wants.
No one talked about Deadpool, but
Yeah, so Deadpool, exactly that. Look how amazing Deadpool was as like a standalone. I mean, I that movie was mind blowing. It was completely like how could you? I can't take away. That was as close to a perfect movie as you could get. It had the nice class humor, the dark, crazy shit going on, and the adult themes and everything. And I thought that was phenomenal movie. I think I want more of that. If my only request to the MCU would be give me more of that random indie stuff, which you expect to bomb in the box office, but actually, goes all the way up there and makes an amazing film. And for DC, it would
The
be,
sad thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the sad thing is like, so Deadpool and Logan and all those films were by 20th Century Fox, right? So now Disney has bought 20th Century Fox. So it's like, even that is going to be like a Disney thing. So Disney has some rules like no blood and no gore, kids friendly. So I don't know.
I think I'm not sure if that actually applies because I remember reading that. I think wait, Deadpool 2 is out. Deadpool 3 I think is coming if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah,
So I remember reading that they're not going to make changes to that. It's going to stay R-rated itself. So
Okay.
at least I hope it stays because with the Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox, there's at least hope that the Avengers versus X-Men story pans out in some way or the other.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
And I hope it's going to be something like
Finally, the
Pixar.
X-Men.
Sorry, Atya. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go on.
So I was saying, I hope it's going to be something like Pixar, where Disney makes your fan service nonsense movies, which are good, but I would never watch them more than twice. But Pixar movies are immortal. Like every single movie they come out is just a banger. Toy Story, the whole series, and if you look at the small Easter eggs in all the movies, and the way they do it is just different. So Up and stuff. So it just Pixar. So I think. Let your 20th Century Fox do their own thing and don't interfere with them too much. Don't let your marketing team control the creative part of the work. So yeah.
Yeah, Ashwin, you were saying something about what you would change about DC, right? So yeah, you continue.
Right. So for DC they are good at doing all the indie stuff, but you have to find your main universe and solidify that. Because you don't have any market share right now as compared to what Marvel has. You don't have anything. It's just the few fanboys who are like, who really don't really care, but because it's cool and trending, they'll just come and watch a movie too. You're just actually riding the wave that Marvel has created. You're not making anything out for yourself. So I would say find your winning formula. So if you know like Batman is working for you, or Superman's working for you, or let's say a Flash TV show, it's working for you. It's okay if like Superman is not your main character. But if you find that winning formula that's working for you, let's say Flash or Green Arrow, they've had a good series going on, build around that. Don't be too afraid to think a bit out of the board, but find that winning formula. I think they lack humor and they lack that joke and they lack that fun element that Marvel has and makes the character so lovable. I think why Marvel won was those tiny Easter eggs that make everybody cheer in the whole film, in the whole theater, and make everybody shout and love and come home and discuss that cool scene. Or when somebody comes punching through a wall, or like the first Avengers movie when Hulk just beat up Thor, right? That was just amazing. And those are small things that actually made the whole thing for me. So you have to find that. I think make your characters more relatable and bring that humor element in, and I think you'll find something great.
Even getting sorry.
I'd like to agree with Ashwin as he said, it's not necessary for DC to make Batman or Superman its main character, as can be seen the DC TV universe, the Arrowverse to be specific. It, they made such a good universe by having Arrow at the helm of things, and Flash. Uh, Batman, Superman, they were just like the side characters who were there, and they ended things on brought things not like to an end, but Infinite, where they brought the legacy of Arrow to an end. So that was kind of similar to Iron Man's legacy. So that
So continuing that what Ashim was telling about those Easter egg moments of Marvel, those small moments which make us discuss it. You see the first Avengers movie, Bruce Banner coming on a scooter and suddenly I'm always angry. On that moment, it does make a difference in those movies. And I think in GOG Volume 2, the dance sequence which starts, and I don't think anyone here would disagree that that was the best, cutest Groot dance sequence which anyone would have seen in MCU when the GOG Volume 2 had started. So these all things does make a difference when you're actually watching it in a theater.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Keegan, would you like to add some inputs here about what you would change to make them better?
Make them better. I would say that once there's a lot of time travel going back and forth, I feel that both the universes should address the alternate timeline theory, which is still very vague. I mean, the comic people know, but like when it comes to movies, creating alternate timelines and its flow through the future. And since you have so many alternate timelines, we have to see which one actually is the one going forward. Should we remember this movie? Should we forget this movie? Does this movie have any relevance going forward? There should be more clarity on that. That's all.
Yeah, I would agree. So this is where the comics tie themselves up in a knot, right? They basically had to keep making universe reset after universe reset. Basically, so as soon as something happens, then you just bring Galactus in, reset everything, or something like that. Or in DC, you just make a huge flashpoint and you make the new 52 and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what happens. I think that's been happening to comic universes since time immemorial. I mean, they've had to do this so many times just because they have so many writers, each doing their own thing, and ultimately they each reach a point where you really can't tie up all the loose ends, so you just reset the universe. Yeah, and I think what what DC has to learn from Marvel here is that Marvel, even though they are very guilty of the same things, they need to start tying up loose ends and making stuff fit. Because ultimately, a very few people, like I think all of us here, love that kind of indie film or that kind of cool open-ended story that makes you think, like an Inception moment or something. But yeah, most people would like to go out of the theater just happy, and not having a heated Twitter debate afterward. So yeah, I think tying up loose ends is really important.
Not becoming schizophrenic like Joker.
Yeah. Okay, so for the people who just joined, we are talking about what things we would do to fix the problems with the two universes. So if anybody wants to contribute to that, then go ahead, if you've not spoken yet.
Okay, so yeah, I'll tell my inputs about it because I have a slightly different approach Like it might work, it might not work. So the thing with Marvel is right. They are doing well. They have a winning formula. Go forward with it. They do some indie projects like Logan and Deadpool. You do such films also to cater to the others, like maybe a smaller audience, but still it might work out. So experiment. That would be I guess out DCU and it has not worked out. So you try making it right, but don't put all your resources into it. Since your standalone films are working, put your money into them. Right? We are fine with standalone films. Make it complete. Don't leave it at a cliffhanger or something. Make standalone films which are complete in themselves, and yeah, you put some amount of like Easter eggs, but don't put all your eggs in the same basket of putting all the Easter eggs and stuff. Like for Batman v Superman, the main problem was because they were trying to somehow connect Superman and Batman in the same universe, and then bring Wonder Woman, and then bring Flash to ultimately bring it to the Snyder whatever the Justice League, right? So go make more standalone films, and if you can put some Easter eggs in between them, that would make everybody happy. But don't put too much resources and thought into doing that. That is my take. So,
yeah. Anyone else? Just unmute and talk. Go ahead. Open forum. Does everybody want to conclude then? So if nobody has anything more to offer, we could just wrap up. Yeah. Any last points from anybody?
I think a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If there's no last points, if we are going to wrap up, right? So I think like some people have obviously fallen to the DC side, and some people have obviously been in the Marvel side. So it would be good that if we end things like, if the DC fellows say, I like this, like their favorite Marvel film, and the Marvel fellows say, this is my favorite DC film, and if we end it like that, at least it would be a fraternity, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So we start us off, and then we can pick each other, nominate the next person until we finish off, and then we can wrap it up.
Okay, so my favorite Marvel film was obviously, just for that emotional climax, would be Avengers Endgame. Keeping aside all the cinematic and stuff, Endgame was superb. I got to hand it over to the Marvel guys to make such a brilliant, like over 18 films to bring a superb arc. Yeah, well done, Marvel, and yeah, Avengers Endgame is my favorite Marvel film. I nominate Ashwin for the next record.
So yeah, I'm also pretty much a DC guy, but I love Into the Spider-Verse. I can't fault that movie. It was a perfect film in my opinion. So yeah. Okay, we have just 10 minutes more, so let's be a little quick. Aditya, could you go next?
Okay, Ashwin pretty much took what I had to say. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse, I've been rewatching it so much. I know it line by line by now. Every aspect of the movie was amazing. Even if I had to pick another one, probably be Logan, just for the feels. I don't think I've cried that hard ever. Yeah. Okay, Laksh.
Yeah, so for me, in DC side, best has been the Batman characters or movies, but they have not been properly maybe explored or brought up on the screen. And recently, the Joker movie, which has really done a great job. The sequence of events, how how a psychiatric patient goes through his life, very well shown. And the actor went up to get the Oscar, so can't even comment anything on it. Totally the best.
And nominate somebody to go after you.
And yeah, Emmanuel, Black Panther.
So since I'm a fan of other universes, I can't restrict myself to either. So as a Marvel fan, I really like Endgame. Then I would agree with Ram and Ashwin that Into the Spider-Verse was like really amazing, and I like Deadpool too. So this would be my films, my favorite in Marvel universe. When it comes to DC, well, nothing can beat the original trilogy of Batman. So I would like to nominate um, Keegan.
Yeah. So yes, I would say right now the most captivating film has to be Endgame because I remember I watched it first in theaters, first show, first day in the lines, and the chills, man, the chills, the legit chills when watching. I think it was who was it who said I think Stam who said on your left. Oh my God, that but if DC is
Okay, so Avantika has net issues. So
And not
maybe
to
Ian, do
forget
you want to go
Captain
next?
America lifting the Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Uh, did you say my name?
Yeah, Ian, do you want to go next? So Avantika says that she loved the Dark Knight trilogy, so even though she's probably on the Marvel side, so she nominated a DC movie. So yeah, Ian, go next. Just tell us which side you are on and which movie of the opposite
Yeah,
side you like.
mostly I watch Marvel movies, so I like Marvel, and my favorite would be Iron Man. I like most of them, the first, second, and third part, and Avengers: Age of Ultron also. And DC movies that I would like to watch is they're all saying that Batman trilogy is so good, so I would want to watch that.
Yeah.
But I like the Superman of Wonder Woman, not very much, but Superman I watch, and I really like.
Yeah. Okay. Who I think Shrish is left. Go ahead. Did you tell us, Shrish, which one you?
No, I said right. Avengers Endgame.
Of course, yes.
So if I pick anything else, it would be Logan. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Logan
yeah.
and Avengers Endgame.
Okay, so I think we have Divya and Diksha left. So if you guys want to go, or if not, just message in the chat. Of the movies you've watched, if you watched any, which superhero film is your favorite? Also, underrated film, Megamind was really good as a superhero
Yeah,
film.
very
I'm just
good.
saying,
Brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Megamind was,
Mega Man
even
is
though it's
good.
not a big universe, it was superhero movie. And also Big Hero 6. I mean,
Big Hero 6.
phenomenal.
Yes, of
Like
course.
That's technically Marvel.
that's technically Marvel, but phenomenal movie. Okay, no taking away from those two. Um, yeah, it was Divya. I want to go. Diksha has kind of said she doesn't want to. Divya, if you watched any movie, you could tell us which one you like the best. If not, Divya, you can just message in the chat and it's cool. And we'll wrap up. Okay, Divya says in the chat that she loved Endgame. So yeah, cool. Okay, so concluding points. I think we are all in complete agreement. Even now, when we are telling everybody the films we love the best, we just echoed Marvel because of all those moments like Cap saying assemble or holding up the Mjolnir or Hulk smash and crazy shit. It's just these small instances that made the Marvel movie so lovable, I think, and enjoyable. It's just because they always had those moments that kept. As soon as you started feeling normal, you had another moment that made you go, yay! So I think that's what Marvel had going for it, and DC obviously has the amazing storylines, the brilliant writers and directors, and they need to just find their cohesion. And or like Shri said, I don't think it's a bad shout, Shri, because for them, individual movies are working. So keep making individual movies. Like just make a standalone film for each of the characters. If it works, make a part 2. If it works, make a part 3 and bring Wonder Woman into the Superman film. I mean, it's not hard, right? So yeah.
I feel by that standard, just like a small tangent, like Shazam was a brilliant movie, just like everything. But because he's an orphan, finding a foster home, finding acceptance, and from there then being given this the coming into the role of a hero and all that. From that side, and it was humorous also. It had its moments. So I think that was a brilliant movie that hopefully DC gets the game up.
Okay, yeah, with that, I think we shall conclude. By the way, I have a picture of Zatanna here. I love Zatanna, one of my favorite DC characters of all time. Amazing character, like just a magician woman, and she looked really hot. So, like Kate Ashton was like, oh my god, so hot. But whatever, yeah, Zatanna, amazing character. So yeah, I think we shall conclude. Thank you guys for the amazing session. It was extremely enjoyable. And we will do this every month because I think it was very productive and I loved having everybody talking. So cool. And yeah, so bye guys. If anybody wants to say something, they can. And yeah, I love you all. Amazing session. I'm so glad we do this. So yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. We shall take a group picture. I'll stop sharing and if everybody could turn their cameras on, if not, your name is there, cool. We just copy a picture of you and put it onto the name later on. Okay. Right. So, okay. Who's taking the picture?
Okay.
Oh, you take the picture. Cool.
Smile. Just a second. Keegan, do you want to put on your camera or you're cool with not? Okay, I guess smile.
Okay, cool.
I'm waiting for Avantika's camera like comes on and off. Okay, awesome.
1 second.
Okay, everyone smile. Avantika's camera is on. Awesome. Done.
Yeah. Thank you guys. So cool. Love this.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Bye.
Thanks. Yeah, bye.